Hello there, my beautiful brothers and sisters. I hope you guys are having a marvelous day. You're honoring yourself and your truth. Today, we're going to be talking about the second most important relationship in your life. And once you honor the first part and you honor the second, everything else will be a reflection of those two relationships. So before we begin, I just want us to get grounded. And so just take a few moments to honor your body, feel, listen, embrace, get rid of all the distractions within your mind, within your body, somewhere quiet. We could really integrate this. We're going to start by just burning a little bit of sage here. And what I want you guys to do is we're just going to take a few mindful breaths, right? So I want you to just take a deep breath in. And on the exhale, just slowly let everything out. We're going to do 2 more breaths just like that, and feeling and surrendering with each exhale. Ooh. Let everything go. Ooh. The power of the breath allows you to come home, feel more grounded, more centered, more in tune. And so, for recapping the last video, which was part 1, the most important relationship is with spirit, is with divinity, is with God. Because that embraces a higher concept, a higher consciousness, something bigger than yourself. And with that, it allows you to start doing the actions that you need to do, especially if your relationship with yourself is not coming from a place of self-love, self-worth, self-empowerment. And so with that, it's a catalyst for your growth and your empowerment because it's holding you accountable to something bigger. And once you start honoring that, it'll allow you the motivation to make changes within yourself. So I'll link that video down below. And now, moving on to the most important relationship of your entire life. The second one. What do you think it is? Comment down below. And if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns during this, let me know so we can create a community, so we can have a dialogue to really help each other grow. The second most important relationship is yourself. It is you and all the various components of you. And these two relationships, God and yourself, are the only relationships that you have control over. These are the only 2 things. Everything else could fall apart around you. But if you have built these 2 with integrity, with accountability, with compassion, self-love, and honoring, it will allow you to make the external changes that reflect that. And it will allow you to detach from things, environments, places that are no longer in alignment and integrity of who you are. And with those 2, it's important to have daily protocols that help you connect and bring energy and attention into you. And so, going back to yourself, there are various components of your being. So I'm going to talk about a couple of those. And the first one is your mind, your brain, and how you think, the thoughts that are coming up. And with that, you have your conscious mind, and those are the things that, boom, are coming up in this moment, in this experience. And you have the unconscious, which are various thoughts that you've programmed in time through repetition, and then you have the emotional component. If it is the emotion, that is where it's going to be elevated. It's going to be very potent. And for example, what is your favorite pizza, right? And you might have an idea like, oh, I like the deluxe, or I like, and I know I'm going to get some haters with this, is pineapple definitely belongs on pizza. I don't care what anybody says. But now you're just thinking of it. What is a pizza that made you feel the most alive, that made you feel really connected? And that is going to be a whole nother experience. And so with emotions, everything is amplified. And so with it, when you're learning, when you're integrating new pathways within your brain, one, try to make it emotional based, where you're feeling and you're connected with your body so it's further amplified. Two, do it in a state of play where you're having fun, enjoying yourself, because that will speed up the process. And so once you go through the process of creating new pathways within your brain, with choosing a new path, an analogy is it's difficult. It's hard. It's a hard process because your mind and your body wants to resort to what's easy, what you've already carved out and created. Whether that's serving you or not, that's your default pathway. And so imagine you're in the Amazon rainforest and it is just packed, shredded. There's wildlife all over the place. And you have that path that you've created through repetition, emotion, and that's your default path. It is a given, well-built, defined path. You could walk it simple and make your way to your destination. Now let's reframe it. And when you do something new, that path hasn't been created yet. So you are literally bushwhacking it whoosh, 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 with a machete, trying to create it. And then when you try to go back to that path, there's still brush. You got to keep cutting. And your brain and your being wants to go to that other pathway because it's easy. It's easy. And so the process of creating new mental paradigms, new neural pathways in your brain is difficult. And that comes with being conscious. And so with all these intelligences that I'm going to mention, you are not those messages that are coming up. You are the watcher. You are the witness to all those stimuli and all those experiences coming in. And in that state of mind, in that state of being, you get to choose. And that is where empowerment comes from. So we've talked about the mind. Now we're going to go to another intelligence, which is your body. The sensations that you feel, your muscles, your tendons, your ligaments, your circulatory system, your lymphatic system, your energetic system, all these are intertwined in this physical vessel. And so with it, how you build awareness and how you get those messages is one, moving the body, activating your muscles. And as a body worker, you want equilibrium, you want balance. And so it's one thing to turn on the muscles, have them squeeze, but you also have to get them to relax and shut off. And if you have that continuum of turning on and turning off, that will give you the most empowerment, the most healing within your body. But through repetition or overusing, and you lose the awareness of what things should feel like when they're loose, when they're gooey, when they're not activated. Or maybe you're in a state of chronic relaxation and everything's super loose, and that means you need to strengthen the muscles to build them up. So it's that balance. And you're going to have different aches, you're going to have different pains, different tensions within your body. And more often than not, that pain is referred. It's not coming from there. You typically need to lean into that pain. You need to strengthen where you're weak and where you are feeling pain because you're compensating. So typically where you are feeling pain, you need to strengthen that area. But you are not your pain. You are not the aches and tension within your body. You're simply observing it and witnessing it and honoring it. And with all these pieces of you, the mind, the good thoughts, the bad thoughts, the body, the empowering sensations, the endorphins versus the aches and pain, you have to honor and love all bits and pieces of it. Because once you start honoring all those bits and pieces, that is how you create harmony within yourself and integrity. So we've talked about the mind and we've talked about the body. Now we're going to go a little bit deeper into the emotional body within yourself. Right? What is your relationship with happiness? What is your relationship with sadness? What is your relationship with contentment, with depression, with rage? All these emotions are meant to serve you, meant to guide you, and you have various levels of each of those emotions. You have a more so minute, it's really small. For example, like anger, maybe I have a little bit of frustration going on, or and then the medium level, all right, now resentment's starting to build, it's starting to intensify, and boom, now I'm into like a full rage activation. Huge boundary has been violated. I am ready to honor it and defend it. And so having the awareness of these intensities, of these emotions, your relationship to them, and more often than not, you have a couple different mechanisms. One, you don't share your truth. You self-abandon due to fear of not being liked, fear of conflict, or validation from outside yourself. So you self-abandon yourself in that moment and that component of you that just wants to be honored. So you're repressing. On the other spectrum, which this is, I believe, a higher path, but still can be dysfunctional, is you're expressing, right? So, hey, I'm angry, I'm pissed off, you are a deadbeat, yada, 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 and you're just expressing it. And the higher pathway between repression and expression is transmuting and feeling and allowing that emotion to radiate through you. So you're not repressing it, you're not expressing it, you feel it, you give it that outlet. And through that feeling of it and allowing it to channel, then you'll have the highest pathway of choosing how you want to respond. But you're integrating it and you're feeling it. You are feeling it. And so with the body, and there's various protocols with the mind to help get into an empowered state, various protocols within the body to build awareness, various protocols within your emotionals to really channel it. And we have your spiritual body, spirit, divinity running through you. What is your relationship like that? Do you connect really deep to that inner stillness, that inner quiet, so you could receive the messages from spirit, from divinity? And with it, it's a two-way relationship. When you pray to God and you do various practices, you're giving. You are giving, you are giving, you are giving, you are giving, you are giving. And then the way to receive is to embody those spiritual practices, whether it's meditation, it could be qigong, tai chi, but you're feeling that stillness within yourself. And the beautiful part is all these intelligences, your mind, your body, your emotions, your spirit, they're all working in conjunction together. And so once you start honoring each component of it and building love and compassion, it'll allow the whole system to be integrated, so you are choosing your highest path, your highest truth, your highest empowerment within that moment. And more often than not, what happens is people are lacking in one area. It could be their emotional body's out of tune. It's been repressed. And so once you start healing these and you start honoring, it's like a purge. And a way to really heal these is treat each of them as a small child. What would your self-talk be like? Say you're being hard on yourself mentally, like, oh, I'm a piece of shit, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy. What would you say if a little kid, your little you, was saying that? You'd be like, I hear you, where you're coming from, and your feelings are valid, but this is not a healthy way to express it. You are worthy. I love you. What do you need in this moment to feel safe? Do you need physical touch? Do you need words of affirmations? Do you need to connect with someone? Expressing those needs, having that communication with your younger self, rebuilding that relationship. And you could do that with all those various intelligences. And so the more that you connect with yourself, you build that foundation, it is going to modify the relationship with God and spirit. The two most important relationships in your life, God and yourself. They're the only two that you can control. And if you build it with the integrity and foundation and love and compassion and authenticity, being real, looking yourself in the eyes, in the mirror, am I honoring myself? Am I owning some of the areas where I'm not stepping into my truth, stepping into my light? And that is tough. That involves responsibility. That involves making changes. That means being able to apologize and being able to say, hey, I was wrong. I was wrong. And not everyone can do that, because that means you have to face and address some of the stuff where you're not stepping into it. And so the beautiful part of this dance is having that vision, knowing where you'll be the most empowered, having accountability and responsibility so you could get there, and loving yourself, who you are in this moment on that journey. Loving yourself unapologetically and unconditionally. Unconditionally. And a side note, a phrase that I got from therapy that really helped me when I was going through some of my addictions is, even though I insert bad behavior, I watched Netflix for 4 hours, even though I ate a whole thing of Krispy Kreme donuts and I ordered a family-sized thing of food and I overate it, even though I avoided a conversation or I gaslit my partner, I utilized stonewalling, all these things, I unconditionally love myself. And so what you're doing is you're reframing the mind to stop these loops, because these loops with your mind, your body, the feelings, once you start going a certain area like, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, that's going to cause those feelings of anxiety, depression. And then once more of those feelings are in the system, that's going to start influencing the mind and the spirit. And so if you could catch it, right, in the moment with honor, love, compassion, you feel it, you honor it, you witness it, it allows you to stop those feedback loops, come back to the present, being grounded, being centered, the breath. And then that'll allow you to recreate the movie of your life by being. Just be. And so that's going to cover it. So we've talked about relationship 1 and 2. And now for the third part is the relationship with others. And I'll go in more details with that video. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, let me know. Reach out. Let's create a dialogue here. I do offer individual coaching for you guys to have that accountability, have that container of sacredness with honor to allow you to purge, to release, to be, and then let's start reintegrating those parts of yourself that need love, need compassion, and create an action plan for you to rise, to step into your empowerment, to be. It's going to be amazing. I'm looking forward to it. And as always, choose your light. Always choose your light. Always choose your empowerment. And blessings, guys.